Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, or welcome back to the channel is probably better intro, to be honest. It has been about 5 years, I believe, since we last done a video on YouTube or any form of social media. Probably a little bit less if you consider HMSGP news, but welcome back. We've changed our name, SpanishSlenderman, fitting little nickname for myself, and we're going to be kickstarting our MotoGP career mode today with our Moto3 season debut as a rookie. And as you can see in the background, we are going to be riding for Bo Motorsport. Going to be a tricky season, a little bit of a, a tail end bike, I believe. I don't even actually know who our teammate is. So this is going to be a very interesting one. You're going to have to bear in mind with me that I don't particularly follow Moto3 all that much due to my work for this current season. So there will be teams and riders and stuff that I may not know who's who. But hopefully it isn't too much of a dilemma, and we should learn them all pretty quickly through the graphics. But without any further ado, let's get straight into it.
Good morning from Gavin Emmett at the Chang International Circuit. We are just on the outskirts of the city of Buriram and ready to bring you the Thai Grand Prix. In a few moments, we'll move to the main straight to watch the start of the Moto3 race.
So here we are then in Thailand. A little bit overcast today for round one, opening the season here instead of our usual beautiful Loseo track, which I feel like is where MotoGP should start under the floodlights. But anyhow, we are here at the Chang International Circuit, and as you can see, here's the grid. We've got David Munoz leading the way for first pole position of the season on the Dynavolt. In fact, we're going to get a nice little cinematic with him right here. So he is the one to get the first pole position of the season. No one in this grid will be able to take that away from him. Angel Piqueras is going to be starting second on the MSI. Unfortunately, this is the team that I was hoping to maybe race for. I was hoping to get a contract from them, because on the previous game for our first season we did get a contract from them, but unfortunately it wasn't the case on this game. And we're obviously riding for Bo. But as you can see, we are in P14. Wasn't the greatest of qualifying sessions. It was wet, which wasn't all that favourable for us, to be honest. Especially for our first qualifying, first session and everything on the game. It didn't really go to plan, and the bike just didn't feel good. So I'm very happy that it is a dry race. But we are running, I believe, for the first Grand Prix, it was 90% AI. For this specific one, and then we up it to 105 from round 2 onwards till I've recorded to about Saxon Ring at the moment, where we've been on 105. So this one is on 90. It's a little bit of an easier AI, but at the same time it was my very first race, so whether it didn't feel easy to play. But here we go then. We go coming up to the grid now. We got Munoz on pole, Angel Piqueras in the middle. There we got Achilles, I believe that is on the third position there. But here we go then. 5 red lights are on and 5 red lights are out. We've got a pretty bad start. It looked like we didn't even move. But Munoz gets a pretty good launch. Angel Piqueras looks like he's got a pretty good one, although he's not going to make it up the inside there into turn 1. Everything seems to have followed suit behind. We've made some pretty good progress through turn 1 considering the launch. It looked like we had a little bit of a late reaction there, but we're going to try and get the bike over Foggier's nose if we can do that. A little bit dodgy business, but same time, we don't have wheel mirrors. We don't know he's there. That's the valid excuse as we free up some space into the braking point here. And Nepa gets caught up behind Buazri, I believe this is one of the riders, that I'm not too familiar with on the Team Asia bike, but I believe it is Buazri. We're going to get in slipstream number 5. And we're going to see if we can line up a move through this section. We're going to take a little bit of a different line, a bit more of a sweeping one in, and just see if we can get the momentum to launch one up into turn 5. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And in fact, we have a little bit of a moment on the bike and lose time, if anything. So we went from planning a move to almost crashing and losing a couple bike lengths. But back at the front then, Angel Piqueras has took the lead, although it looks like he's going to be a very momentary thing as Munoz comes by, and even Fernandez comes by, taking advantage of the situation and forces the MSI bike a little bit wide, and regains the second place on the Leopard. I can't actually see the other Leopard, so just like how Manza is maybe struggling with some pace, because he's not even, look, there he is, way back in the probably the tail end of the points there. But looks like it's going to be Munoz to lead the first lap of the season, which is pretty fitting. I mean, he's pretty much led all the weekend, the practice. Obviously, he got pole position, and now he's led the first lap of the Grand Prix. So he's looking menacing on that Liquimoli bike. and we're ourselves. We've had a good first lap, to be honest. You know, from P14, I think it was on the grid, to P9, although it looks like we might momentarily possibly drop down to P10 here. We're in a little bit of a drag race with the Squadra bike, which is one of the bikes you can choose to start your season. I believe it was Squadra, Bo, and the one that Ryan has in his series, which you should also go check out, the Snipers. So, to be honest, not many options. I think you had like CIP or so, you know, they're not really teams, to be honest, that I personally want to race for at all. But obviously you're forced to do it. But anyway, lap 2, we've lost a little bit of time here to Buazri, although we do sort of gain it through this section as the AI are all going side by side and battling away. I've got to say, we need to remember, now that I'm editing these videos, we need to remember to take off this music, because I'm bopping when these little replays come on. Because the music goes off when we go back to the gameplay, but then we come to the replays and we bop 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 with the MotoGP theme. But looks like Fernandez is going to be going for it up the inside, taking the lead of the Grand Prix on board the Honda. First Honda to take the lead in this season. Where are we? Well, we've got a Honda there in fourth, sorry, with the Team Asia. But to be honest, this Grand Prix is very much looking KTM dominated around here in Thailand. And I've got to say, racing the AI in Thailand on this game in Moto3 is pretty good. Other tracks, I can't say the same, to be honest. You know, they just don't really sort of fight each other, or it's very much one-line racing. But here at Thailand, the racing is pretty good. I mean, even in the wet, if you was to watch Ryan's video, you know, there's a lot of action going on. And now in a dry race, obviously we've got a fair amount of action. But here we go then. We got Nepa trying to, you know, pretty much copy-paste from the previous lap, trying to out-drag us. Fortunately for us, though, it doesn't seem like that specific Honda has more horsepower than us, so we do manage to keep that position and you know, choose our line into turn 3. And we're a little bit closer now. We might actually be able to get some sort of slipstream effect now from these bikes ahead, as they all seem to have bunched up a little bit. But as you can see in the bottom right there, we've not really talked about our teammate, because to be quite frank with you, I don't really know who he is. I think it's Buchanan or something like this. Not too sure how you say the name. But nevertheless, we get a good run there on Buazri, a move that we rehearsed sort of earlier on in the Grand Prix, and this time around we actually get the move done, although he looks like he's going to try come back up the inside, but we are just going to cut his nose and have absolutely none of that. And in fact, we've got a pretty good run here on Carpe on the KTM, and we're going to even get up the inside of him into turn 8, although he looked like he was a bit hesitant to sort of chuck it in there. He probably heard our bike coming up the inside and he thought, oh dear me, it's this rookie Donny, let's not get involved. But yeah, luckily for us, he obviously, you know, gave us the space and allowed us to come through, and we've definitely upped the wick a little bit in this lap. I mean, even on our Delta, I mean, the AI in general, we're all pushing more in this lap and stage of the Grand Prix, but as you can see, 7 tenths up on our time, which is pretty impressive. And we've had some yellow flags here. We've got under investigation, Foggia and Lunetta, I think that was. So there may be a little bit of involvement there between them. It looks like we've got Foggia out of the Grand Prix, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Lunetta has gone up the inside and possibly took him out. But here we go then down the straight. We're losing a little bit of time here on the straights. It's not too much, it's not dreadful, because the AI are not taking the right line, mainly into turn 3 to overtake us. But we are definitely losing time in the straights. I feel like through the corners, this bike's actually not even that bad. But through the straights, we're just not really gaining what I thought we would be gaining. And we are losing a little bit more than I expected for sure. But look at this. We've got a pretty good run, though, out of turn 3 as these are all fighting each other. And we managed to get by the KTM of Raid. And we're even going to try go up the inside of Killes here, as his momentum was all over the place. And they're starting to drop away a little bit. I see that now from the, you know, the top 4, and I'm thinking, oh, we've got 2 laps left, you know, they're dropping back. We can't really afford to be behind here if we want to get a podium or even a win, dare I say, in our debut race. You know, we need to obviously progress forward and get on with it. And it seems like Raider is on the same page as he gets by swiftly on Killes. But back at the front then, we've got Fernandez leading the way still on the Leopard, carrying the Honda team. And then we got Dynavolt in second. We got the MSI in third, and we got Furusato, I think that is, on the Team Asia, who's closed that gap now, and he is right there. And in fact, look at us, we've gained quite a bit too. The last corner, I feel like they do break significantly early And, you know, we do find a little bit of time there. So, obviously, we're going to try to take advantage of that. Because then down this whole straight, we're going to lose a little bit of time. But let's see what happens then at the front here. Look at this. We've got 2 overtakes going on. And then in the background, looks like we're getting done by the KTM of a Raider. Possibly of Gilles also on the CF Moto. Although that isn't to be. But that little moment there that you just saw, riding on that white triangle line thingy-majiggy, that was enough to get us our very first warning of the season for track limits. As you can see, 1 out of 5 now on the graphic there. And yeah, we're going to have to be careful about that. Although we do only have 1 lap left, to be fair. And we've got 4 warnings in us. So we probably don't have to be careful all that much in this Grand Prix, as we get a good run on well, not too much. We're on a bit of a wrong line, to be honest. And trying to go around the outside of Furusato, that isn't going to work at all. In fact, you know, if we move to the inside, oh dear me, here comes Raider up the inside, almost loses the front. He's all over the place. We should be able to get him on a switchback here, just because of that overly audacious sort of overtake there. There's sort of no planning behind it, but obviously we did have a bit of sort of whack momentum. I don't know why we was on the wrong line completely. We should have been on the inside, and we went around the outside. But look at this, we're making amends for it now, right around the outside of Furusato, as he has a little moment there with some tyre wear now kicking in, and even our bike's wobbling all over the place, and we're going to lose that position straight away, maybe even to Raider here. We're on the outside, and we're going to go late on the brakes, chuck it in. Like I say, they're pretty early on the brakes there. We rung it in deep, floor it on the throttle, and just about push the bike in front of Furusato there to keep at the position, keep the clear air and a clean run into turn 1, because we've got a couple bike lengths here to catch up to the podium rungers. We've got Munoz now that takes the lead of the Grand Prix, Fernandez in second, Piqueras in third. He's probably in the best position for this straight, going to get a double slingshot. As we come flying down here, Fernandez gets by, Piqueras pulls out the slipstream, but doesn't actually seem to progress. In fact, it looks like he's lost some time in the straight, so maybe the MSI bike not all that quick in the straight, as Fernandez has gone out well wide. He's gone to the car park here as he's coming back right in front of Piqueras, and that slows both riders down and gives Munoz a little bit of breathing space coming down here into these tricky left corners. So possibly he's not going to be under threat, and if anything, it looks like Angel Piqueras might be under threat, because we're coming in with some serious speed. We're going all the way to the far right. We're going to be chucking it in left through turn 4. We're going to get that good momentum through. We're going to try go up the inside, as Fernandez had a little look on Munoz there. We'll just about get into the gap there that we had between Fernandez and Piqueras, and we're going to get on the throttle, and we're going to get by the Leopard, chuck it over his nose into turn 7, and slot ourselves into second place now with David Munoz right in front of us. This is possibly, we're going to get a win in this. If we can get close enough and send it into the last corner, things might be able to happen here. But unfortunately for us, it looks like we're too entangled with Fernandez and too worried about what he's doing, whether he's going to send it or not. We've given Munoz just enough bike lengths, I feel, for even our standards to be able to send a move here. And it looks like it is going to be the pole sitter and the first lap race leader that is going to lead the very last lap of the very first Grand Prix. David Munoz takes the win. We come home in second, and Angel Piqueras looks like he managed to nab third place there off of Adrian Fernandez. Raider 5th, Furusato 6th, Gilles 7th, Carpe 8th, Kelso 9th, and Buazri rounds out the top 10 there. So interesting Grand Prix. Our teammate seems to have struggled. Hopefully he did get into the tail end of the points, although I don't really believe that he did, because his pace, to be honest, around here in Thailand wasn't all that amazing. I know the bike isn't great, but we are showing that, you know, you can get it up the grid. But obviously championship standings same as the results, but team championship here we got Dynavolt leading the way as both their riders score points, which unfortunately for us just didn't happen. But hopefully, I think Buchanan, I'm probably butchering the Buchanan name. I'm not too sure how you pronounce his name, but hopefully he can pick it up a little bit, because it would be nice to be able to fight for that World Championship along with the Riders World Championship. But here we are then, first podium cinematic with our Chupa Chups helmet. Beautiful cinematic. Hopefully this is going to be the first of many podiums. You know, that was a very good race, I feel, from us. Thankful that, you know, it was a dry race. And after every weekend, we get this little debrief thing with our team where we can try to get KTM's attention and support from the factory and help us progress forward in the order, and yeah, I think it's a good little addition. I mean, it does get a little bit repetitive, but we are going to be including it in every video and just participating in the briefing after every race. But as you can see, they're just asking us about the bike. Obviously, we're going to say that the bike needs improvement, and I definitely feel like that improvement needs to come from the engine. I think KTM, they need to give us a little bit more horsepower, and I feel like, you know, with that we might be able to be a little bit more competitive. But yeah guys, that is the end of episode 1 in the Thailand Grand Prix. Pretty good race. We've got the little social media sort of wall here. Here is our teammate saying that coming in second shows that the team is working well and we can all continue to do well, although he is not doing well. So I don't really know what he's talking about, but we are going to keep it though in positive spirits and keep him smiling and ourselves smiling and the team smiling and everyone smiling. But yeah guys, that is the end of episode 1, the Thailand Grand Prix. We are going to be moving now to the Argentinian Grand Prix for episode 2, and yes, it's going to be another hopefully very chaotic race. And yeah, I will see you then. It will be up in a couple days, so make sure you leave a like, subscribe and share the video around, and I'll see you with a brand new video very soon.